Everyone knows the Ottoman Empire almost never lost in the 15th century, but there is one battle they tried to forget because it shattered that myth in a single morning. And if you blink you miss how impossible it was, because this was not a fair fight, not even close. 8,000 soldiers, tired, outnumbered, hiding in the mountains. Facing an Ottoman force 5 times larger, 40,000 men, confident, armored, certain of victory. And yet what happened at Albulena in 1457 shocked the empire and turned a rebel leader into a legend. This is the story of how patience, deception, and perfect timing crushed overwhelming power, and why the Ottomans never truly felt safe in Albania again. It begins quietly, almost hopelessly. For months, George Castrioti, known to history as Skanderbeg, is losing. His lands are burned, his allies are exhausted. His army is shrinking. Ottoman commanders believe the rebellion is finished. Skanderbeg has fought them for years, but now it feels different. Supplies are low, morale is thin, villages are empty. The Ottomans push deeper into Albania, confident that resistance is finally broken. And this confidence is the first mistake, because Skanderbeg does something that looks like defeat. He disappears, his army vanishes into the hills. No challenges, no open battles, no raids. Weeks pass, then months. The Ottomans camp near a plain called Albulena, close to modern-day Lejeu. They relax, armor comes off, guards grow lazy. Commanders argue over credit before the war is even finished. They believe Skanderbeg has fled or surrendered or simply faded away. But he has not. He is watching, waiting, counting days. Counting habits, memorizing routines. He knows his men, he knows the land. And he knows one thing the Ottomans forget again and again. Numbers do not matter if you are not ready. This is where everything changes. On the morning of September 2nd, 1457, the Ottomans wake to a normal day. Campfires, noise, movement, then the hills erupt. Albanian horns blast from every direction, arrows rain down, drums pound. Skanderbeg's army charges from the forest in multiple waves, not as one mass, but like a storm breaking in stages. The Ottomans scramble, orders clash. Units collide with each other, horses panic. The camp turns into chaos in minutes. Skanderbeg strikes the center first, cutting straight for command tents. Leaders fall early, communication collapses. Then the Albanians pull back, just enough to make it seem like the attack is ending. The Ottomans chase, and that is the second mistake. From the flanks, fresh Albanian units slam into the exposed sides. From the rear, hidden forces block retreat. The plain becomes a trap. 40,000 men suddenly have nowhere to go. Panic spreads faster than commands. Discipline breaks, some fight, many flee. Skanderbeg keeps pressure constant. No pause, no mercy for momentum. Ottoman casualties explode. Contemporary sources report tens of thousands killed or captured. Even if those numbers are debated, what is not debated is the outcome. The Ottoman army is shattered, commanders are killed or flee. Equipment is abandoned, the camp is lost. By nightfall, the impossible has happened. 8,000 soldiers have annihilated a force 5 times their size. And the reason is not luck, it is preparation. Skanderbeg had waited nearly a year for this moment. He had let the Ottomans believe the war was over. He had allowed fear to fade into boredom. And boredom into arrogance. The shock travels fast. Across the Balkans, across Europe. Letters spread the news. Songs are written. The Pope calls Skanderbeg a defender of Christendom. But the Ottomans feel something else, humiliation, because this was not a narrow defeat or a hard-fought draw. It was a collapse, and empires hate collapse more than loss. Sultan Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople, is furious. He sends new armies, more commanders, more pressure. But Albulena changes everything. From this moment on, every Ottoman general entering Albanian land remembers the forest. The silence, the waiting. They know Skanderbeg does not need to win every battle. He only needs one perfect moment, and that fear keeps Albania unconquered for years, longer than anyone thought possible. But there is a darker side to this victory. Skanderbeg's men are exhausted. Albania is devastated. Fields are ruined. Towns are empty. This victory buys time, not peace, and Skanderbeg knows it. He has not defeated the empire. he has embarrassed it. And embarrassed empires always return, yet Albulena becomes a lesson written in blood and silence. Power is not just size, strength is not just numbers. Control can vanish in minutes if confidence rots into carelessness. That is why the Ottomans remembered this battle even when they tried not to speak of it, because it proved something terrifying. Even the strongest force in the world can be destroyed if it stops listening, stops watching, and stops fearing the enemy it thinks is already beaten, and that is the final of Albulena. Not the bodies on the field, not the broken camp, but the knowledge that patience can be deadlier than force, and that sometimes history turns not on who has more soldiers, but on who waits longer in the dark, ready to strike when victory feels certain. After Albulena, nothing feels the same, even though the war continues, because victory does not bring rest, it brings attention, and attention from an empire is dangerous. Stop a minute or a second. If this battle surprised you, pause for a second, hit like, follow the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because the next story goes even deeper into history's forgotten moments. Skanderbeg knows this the moment the battlefield goes quiet. The plain is littered with broken tents, abandoned weapons, wounded men calling out in languages from across the empire. His soldiers celebrate, but not for long. They know what this means. The Ottomans will come back, bigger, angrier, smarter, and this time they will not relax. Messages race toward Constantinople. Survivors speak of forests that moved, of horns screaming from the hills, of death arriving from everywhere at once. Some exaggerate, some lie to protect themselves. But the truth is bad enough. Sultan Mehmed II listens in silence. This is the same man who broke the walls of Constantinople. The same ruler who believes resistance is a problem that can always be solved with enough pressure. But Albania keeps resisting, and worse, it keeps embarrassing him. Albulena becomes more than a battle. It becomes a warning. Mehmed does not forget warnings. He sends new commanders, not careless ones, but veterans. He sends more troops, more supplies, more money. Castles are reinforced, roads are secured, scouts are doubled. Camps are fortified every night. The Ottomans adapt, and Skanderbeg feels it immediately. Raids become harder. Ambushes cost more lives, victories shrink. Albania itself is bleeding. The land has been at war for decades. Villages are emptied not by defeat, but by survival. People flee into mountains, into forests, into foreign lands. Food grows scarce, horses die, armor rusts. Skanderbeg is no longer a young man. His beard is gray, his body is scarred. He carries the weight of every decision because he knows every delay costs lives. And still, he refuses to surrender because surrender means absorption. Loss of faith, loss of law, loss of identity. He has seen what happens to conquered lands. He lived it himself. Once, long ago, he was taken as a boy to the Ottoman court, trained as one of them, molded to serve them. He knows their strength. He knows their weakness. And Albulena proved that knowledge could outweigh numbers. But knowledge alone cannot feed an army forever. European powers praise him loudly and help him quietly. Gold arrives late, promises arrive early, support is always less than needed. Everyone wants Skanderbeg to keep fighting, because as long as he does, the Ottomans are distracted. Albania becomes a shield for others, whether it wants to or not. And shields crack, years pass, battles blur together. Some are victories, many are stalemates, a few are losses that almost end everything. Skanderbeg survives assassination attempts, betrayals, shifting alliances. Some Albanian nobles grow tired, they want peace at any price. Others stay loyal, bound not just by oaths, but by shared suffering. The Ottomans change tactics again. Instead of one massive force, they apply constant pressure. Sieges, raids, scorched earth. They do not need one decisive victory, they only need time. And time is something Albania does not have much of. In 1468, Skanderbeg falls ill. Fever, weakness, his body finally begins to fail. He knows what this means. Without him, unity will fracture, fear will return. He dies in January, and with him dies the one figure who could hold everything together through sheer force of will. The reaction is immediate. Ottoman commanders celebrate quietly. They know the war is not over yet, but the spine has been removed. Resistance continues, but it is no longer the same. There is no Albulena again, no perfect ambush. No long silence followed by sudden terror. Castles fall one by one. Albania fights on, but now it is about delay, not victory. In 1479, the Ottomans finally secure control. The land that defied an empire for decades is absorbed. Churches are turned into mosques, administrations change, new laws arrive. Some Albanians convert, some flee, some adapt. But Albulena does not disappear. It survives in memory, in songs, in foreign chronicles. In the fear that lingered in Ottoman planning rooms for years afterward. Even after conquest, the empire treats Albania differently. Garrisons are stronger, patrols are heavier. Commanders remember what happened when they relaxed. And this is the strange legacy of that single day in 1457, when ambush reshaped behavior far beyond the battlefield. It proved that rebellion was not always foolish. That resistance could be intelligent, patient, strategic, and it forced the most powerful empire of the era to admit something it hated admitting. That control is fragile, that confidence can be weaponized against itself. That victory can rot into disaster if discipline fades. Albulena was not just about killing soldiers. It was about breaking certainty, and certainty is the foundation of empire. Take that away, even briefly, and everything shakes. That is why this battle still matters, not because of the numbers alone. Not because 8,000 defeated 40,000. But because it showed how power actually collapses. Not in grand speeches, not in final stands. But in moments of comfort, moments of boredom. Moments when the enemy is underestimated. And somewhere in those Albanian hills, on a quiet morning that was supposed to be safe, history snapped shut like a trap, reminding the world that force without vigilance is just waiting to be humiliated. And that sometimes the most dangerous weapon is not the sword, but patience sharpened by anger and guided by memory.